I'm Zahir with Kelvin Abdullah, and you are tuning in to Nightline. The top stories: amendments to Audit Act 1957 presented for first reading. And suspicion of illegally processing e-waste Sungai Petani factory issued suspension order. The Auditor General AG will be given greater powers to oversee the use of public funds following proposed amendments to the Audit Act. The 2024 Audit Amendment Bill, which was tabled for its first reading in Dewan Rakyat on Thursday, aimed to improve governance and accountability in the public sector. The bill, which was tabled by Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reforms, Datuk Sri Azalina Othman Said, is expected to be passed during this Dewan Rakyat meeting, which ends on July 18th. Among the significant amendments was the inclusion of a new Section 9A, which empowered the AG to carry out a follow-up audit to review actions taken by respective state and federal authorities and bodies regarding the implementation of recommendations. The AG could present the follow-up audit report to the King at any time, with copies of the report submitted to the respective heads of state. Also significant was the amendment to Section 5, which expanded the powers of the Auditor General to audit any accounts of other bodies, including companies that had received federal and state financial guarantees. This included probing any bodies or companies that had received public funds if the Finance Minister was satisfied that the probe should be carried out in the best interest of the public. Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics STEM program offered by private universities will be reassessed this year. Secretary-General of Higher Education Ministry, Datuk Sri Zaini Ujang, said the measure is to address the problem of universities offering too many programs or courses that they fail to attract new students.
Selalunya sebuah fakulti itu bukan ada satu program. Dia kadang-kadang ada 13 program, 14 program. Dan ada program-program yang kurang pelajar yang dari segi bidang itu mungkin ada overlapping dengan bidang yang lain. Jadi kita cadangkan pelajar ambil bidang yang lain yang lebih popular, yang lebih market driven, ya. Dan itu yang kita lakukan sekarang lah.
Zaini added the ministry will discuss with universities in the near future to reassess the programs they offer. He admitted that some programs which have no demand should be discontinued to reduce costs, including accreditation fee. Previously, it was reported more than 6 engineering programs in private institutions of higher learning, including 2 colleges that collaborate with 2 public universities, are no longer accredited by the Engineering Accreditation Council. It follows the recruitment of students for engineering programs that are offered gradually being frozen and terminated by the involved private institutions of higher learning. More than 500 obscene and pornographic websites have been blocked by the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) from January to the beginning of this month. Deputy Communication Minister Teo Ni Ching said that action was taken based on monitoring and complaints from the public.
Dalam tempoh yang sama, 308 kandungan berunsur lucah dan 29 kandungan media sosial yang berunsur sumbang telah diturunkan oleh penyedia platform berdasarkan permohonan yang telah dilakukan.
The move was also done in cooperation with social media platforms such as Telegram, Facebook and TikTok. As of June, 19 websites have been blocked and 23 contents related to the sale and promotion of sex-related products and sex drugs had been taken down. In Kedah, the Department of Environment (DOE) has suspended the operations of a factory on suspicion of conducting illegal e-waste recovery activities. A woman and 9 men from China and Bangladesh were arrested in Thursday's raid at the factory in Sungai Petani. State DOE Director Sharifah Zakia Said Sahab said the suspension order followed a raid conducted by 45 officers and personnel from the department, along with the police special branch and the immigration department, which began at 9:30 a.m. According to Sharifah, the factory is suspected of illegally processing e-waste without approval and without any control devices. Preliminary investigations indicate that the waste is likely imported from abroad. The factory's actions have the potential to cause environmental pollution, including the illegal disposal of scheduled waste, air pollution and water pollution. Action has been taken against the factory under the Environmental Quality Act 1974. The raid, which followed 2 months of intelligence gathering, also uncovered 350 metric tons of electrical and electronic waste in the factory, all of which has been seized for further action. The case will be investigated under the Environmental Quality Act 1974. In Johor, a company has seen its fine for air pollution offences doubled from 40,000 ringgit to 80,000 ringgit per charge by the Johor Bahru High Court. P-Tech Resources Sdn Bhd was ordered to pay a total fine of 640,000 ringgit for 8 administrative charges from the initial 320,000 ringgit that was decided by the Johor Bahru Sessions Court last year. Among the 8 administrative offences committed by the company were failure to carry out periodic monitoring, as well as failure to install the relevant equipment to monitor air pollution levels in its premises. Judge Dato' Abu Bakar said he granted the prosecution's appeal for the fine to be increased following arguments from both sides. When delivering his decision, the judge said if the Environmental Department had not conducted checks on the respondent's factory, the offence would have taken place continuously and would have worsened air pollution for the surrounding residents. On November 30th last year, P-Tech Resources Sdn Bhd, which faced 8 charges under the Environmental Quality Clean Air Regulations 2014, was fined 40,000 ringgit on each count for the pollution in Pasir Gudang. The Sungai Kim Kim pollution incident broke out in March 2019, affecting the health of over 2,000 people and leading to the closure of 111 schools in Pasir Gudang. The Malaysian Football League (MFL) have eased up on the punishment imposed on Selangor FC for refusing to play the Charity Shield fixture against Johor Darul Takzim JDT on May 10th. The MFL said the reconsideration was made as a gesture of respect and in accordance with the decree of the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharifuddin Idris Shah, which was issued the day before. The MFL has, among others, reduced the fine imposed on Selangor FC for pulling out of last month's Charity Shield match against Johor Darul Takzim JDT from 100,000 ringgit to 60,000 ringgit. It said the deduction of 3 points in the 2024-2025 Super League season has also been rescinded, but warned that repeated offences could result in stricter penalties. The ban on spectators attending the Super League match between Selangor FC and JDT at MBPJ Stadium during game week 14 has also been lifted. However, the MFL said it would maintain the compensation for losses suffered by JDT and the MFL Secretariat, with details and costs to be provided to Selangor FC for review and further discussions. Meanwhile, Selangor FC have been given 3 days from Thursday by the MFL to lodge an appeal. On Wednesday, Sultan Sharifuddin voiced anger and disappointment at MFL for imposing such penalties on Selangor FC, which were described as irresponsible, made without compassion, inhumane, and showed no concern for the cruelty that occurred. On Tuesday, Selangor FC explained that they only withdrew from the game with JDT after their request for postponement was turned down. The club reiterated that the request to postpone the Charity Shield match was made after the acid attack on Faisal Halim on May 5th and several other incidents involving the country's footballers. The United States Department of Justice, DOJ, has reached an agreement in the alleged embezzlement of $4.5 billion from One Malaysia Development Berhad 1 MDB. The deal with Low Tech Jho, also known as Jho Low, his family members and trust entities, includes a civil forfeiture of more than $100 million in funds. The DOJ said prior to this agreement, more than $1.4 billion in assets associated with One MDB was returned to Malaysia. It added Low has also agreed to cooperate in the transfer to Malaysia of certain other assets in Hong Kong, Switzerland and Singapore that are linked to One MDB funds. Under the agreement, the department will coordinate with foreign partners to facilitate the liquidation and return of these assets to Malaysia. The Kuala Lumpur High Court has denied former Nenggiri Assemblyman Azizi Abu Naim's application for temporary injunction to halt the by-election for the state seat. Judicial Commissioner Rose Mawar Rosain said the court cannot restrain the Election Commission from holding the coming by-election as it was exercising its constitutional duty. Previously, Azizi filed a suit to challenge his purported sacking by Bersatu as well as the Kelantan State Assembly's decision to declare the vacancy of the Nenggiri state seat. Sunak and Starmer clash in final debate before election. News from the foreign front when we return.
Ramai patut tonton filem ni untuk memahami macam mana dunia orang yang masalah pendengaran dengan masalah buta.
Film ini akan remind you no matter what, your mother is still your mother.
Mesej yang rasa macam penting lah.
Jangan berputus asa menghadapi segala cabaran yang ada dalam hidup.
Cinematography, screenplay, the script writing, everything is very awesome.
Jangan lupa saksikan A Mother's Touch, eksklusif hanya di Tonton.
Discover how inclusive environments and strong parent-provider relationships can help transform the lives of our children.
We should never be afraid to ask for help. It's not a taboo to ask for help. And it's not a taboo if you need to go and work, like we need to respect our children as well.
I think it is also very important for parents to realise that this support system are not meant to take over your role. The caregivers are there to basically become your support system when you're not around.
Catch Women Talk this Saturday at 5 p.m. TV3, also live stream on Tonton.
Apa benda semua nak simpan ni?
Saya memang penyimpan memori, kolektor.
Kolektor ke hoarders?
Tak kolektor.
Apa beza hoarders dengan kolektor?
Entahlah. Okey, alham makanan laut jangan ambil mudah sebab boleh membawa maut.
Dan juga kita nak fahami Akta Kanak-Kanak 2001, pengabaian terhadap kanak-kanak.
Rezeki petani DIY, kaedah penanaman baru di kawasan rumah.
Dan kita nak fahami Bank Digital Islam.
MSI setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat.
Juga di aplikasi Tonton, hanya di TV3.
On to the foreign front, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and Labour leader Keir Starmer went head-to-head in their debate before an election next week, with both launching highly personal attacks over their and their party's credibility. With Sunak's Conservatives trailing Labour by around 20 points in the polls, he went on the attack accusing Starmer of not being straight with the country on migration, tax and women's rights, and urging voters not to surrender to the Labour Party.
You can have tax cuts with the Conservatives, or you can have thousands of pounds of tax rises under the Labour Party, because he's simply not being straight with you about what is coming. Mark my words, your taxes are going up if he is in charge.
Labour's Starmer, in the meantime, said he showed a leadership where Sunak had not, referring to the betting scandal involving 5 Conservative Party officials, including 2 candidates who have been investigated over bets that were placed on the timing of an early election.
Because this isn't just what's happened this week, last week in the Gambling Commission. This takes leadership. What I did when one of my team was alleged to have been involved and investigated by the Gambling Commission, they were suspended within minutes.
The debate, which took place in the central city of Nottingham, represented Sunak's last big opportunity to give his right-wing Conservatives a fighting chance in the July 4th polls. Polls, however, indicate that Starmer is on course to win the election with a large majority, ending 14 years of Conservative rule. Indonesia's House of Representatives, DPR, is conducting an investigation into allegations involving over 1,000 members of the DPR Regional Representative Council, DPRD, and their respective general secretariats for their alleged involvement in online gambling activities. According to the chairman of Third Commission, Bambang Wuryanto, the Ethics Council could potentially take disciplinary action against those implicated. The inquiry was reportedly prompted by a report from the Financial Transaction Reports and Analysis Centre highlighting the need for transparency and accountability within government ranks. It was reported that financial transactions linked to online gambling in the Republic had reached $7 billion in the first quarter of 2024. The Indonesian government has taken a firm stance against online gambling, with the Electronic Information and Transactions Law strictly prohibiting such activities. Thailand on Thursday announced the results of its complex multi-round election to choose a new Senate, the first poll for the upper house since a military coup a decade ago. The 200 members chosen in the 3-round process, which did not feature a full public vote, include many former civil servants, military and police officers. As many of them are allied to the conservative Boom Jai Thai party, analysts said that the result could cause headaches for the government led by Prime Minister Sweta Tavisin's Pheu Thai party. However, in a significant change, the new Senate, 50 members smaller than the outgoing version appointed by the ruling junta in 2014, will no longer vote to approve the Prime Minister after an election. The current Senate played a crucial role after last year's general election blocked the leader of the party that won most seats, Pita Limjaroenrat, from becoming premier. Israeli force again stormed a neighborhood in Gaza City on Thursday, ordering Palestinians to move south as military tanks moved further into the occupied territory. According to local media, military tanks entered the Shijaya neighborhood and people from the eastern suburb were running west under fire as the regime had blocked the road south. 3 people were reported killed in the earlier bombing and 5 others were killed in the Sabra neighborhood. The Palestinian Civil Emergency Service said there were more reports of people killed and wounded in Shijaya, but their teams were unable to reach them due to the ongoing offensive. In the past 24-hour period, Gaza's health ministry said 47 Palestinians, bringing the total death toll to 37,765 people since October 7. Newcomers Georgia stun Portugal. Sports when we come back.
Sebab saya nak dapatkan petunjuk.
Petunjuk awak Kak Jiha, bukan saya. Saya tak mungkin kahwin dengan awak.
Discover how inclusive environments and strong parent-provider relationships can help transform the lives of our children.
We should never be afraid to ask for help. It's not a taboo to ask for help. And it's not a taboo if you need to go and work, like we need to respect our children as well.
I think it is also very important for parents to realise that this support system are not meant to take over your role. The caregivers are there to basically become your support system when you're not around.
Catch Women Talk this Saturday at 5 p.m. TV3, also live stream on Tonton.
Singkirkan nombor 2. Sebab sakit mata lah tengok ni sekali sama.
Kau memang tak tahu malu
Semua ni salah keluarga dia. Kita tak boleh nak tuduh dia. Aku rasa Ariana tak tahu pun pasal ni.
Jadi tak boleh nak maafkan apa yang Papa dengan Lily dah buat dekat Hanif.
Kalau saya tak cintakan awak, takkan saya bisa macam ni.
Saya cintakan awak. Kita kahwin? Maknanya Hanif dengan Ariana tu.
2 Darjah Minggu Akhir setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat 7 malam di Akasia TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton. 5 sebab anda perlu menonton Cerita Rama TV3 Jun ini. Pertama, ketabahan hidup bermadu.
Betul ke cara unik?
Kedua, penyesalan tidak berpenghujung.
Mak.
Ketiga, niat yang disalah erti.
Manusia ke Allah?
Keempat, misteri sebuah kehilangan.
You suka Daniel kan?
Kelima, Cerita Rama TV3, satu destinasi untuk semua telefilm hebat kegemaran anda dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports football, the 2024 Euros. Georgia staged the biggest upset in history with a 2-0 win over Portugal in their Group F clash to stride into the knockout phase of their first major tournament. Napoli's Vicha Kvaratskhelia opened the scoring for the Crusaders 2 minutes into the match after a sloppy pass from Antonio Silva gifted Jorge Mikautadze the ball in a dangerous position. Mikautadze then sealed the win for Georgia in the 57th minute with his third goal of the tournament as he coolly converted from the spot. With the victory, Willie Sagnol's side became one of the best third-place teams and they will next face Spain in the last 16, while Portugal will take on Slovenia. The win also represented the greatest result for Georgia since the country gained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. Still on football, the 2024 Copa America. Salomon Rondon struck a second-half penalty to send Venezuela into the quarterfinals with a 1-0 win over Mexico in Group B. Though Mexico dominated the opening half hour, Venezuela grew into the game with John Aramburu sending Mexico keeper Julio Gonzalez the wrong way before slotting home into the bottom corner in the 57th minute. Mexico then earned a penalty of their own for a handball in the dying minutes, but Venezuela goalkeeper Rafael Romo got down low to parry Orbelin Pineda's 87th-minute spot kick. The win moved Venezuela up to 6 points at the top of the group and secured their progress to the last 8 with a game to spare. Burglary gang busted after robbing 7 million ringgit. The details after this short break.
Apabila siren berbunyi, mereka sedia beraksi. Bersama Korporal Bani menghadapi detik-detik mendebarkan.
Ada lesen ke tak?
Dahsyat betul budak-budak sekarang
Dah viral kat media sosial.
Dapatkan baru saja
Betul!
Dalam Polis Peronda mulai 28 Jun setiap Jumaat 10 malam. Terbaru di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Discover how inclusive environments and strong parent-provider relationships can help transform the lives of our children.
We should never be afraid to ask for help. It's not a taboo to ask for help. And it's not a taboo if you need to go and work, like we need to respect our children as well.
I think it is also very important for parents to realise that this support system are not meant to take over your role. The caregivers are there to basically become your support system when you're not around.
Catch Women Talk this Saturday at 5 p.m. TV3, also live stream on Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Susahnya semua sebut tak kena.
Syira, bertenang. Syira, semua masalah ada penyelesaiannya.
Oh, kau mang, dah yang dah berbunga.
Dah musim durian. Jom kita cuba menu durian minggu ini.
Pengabaian anak?
Apakah antara tindakan yang menyebabkan pengabaian?
Agaknya orang yang pada berbau ni mereka sedar ataupun tidak?
Jangan sampai buat orang lain tak selesa. Dan apakah cara atasinya?
Segi penting untuk jaga air muka pasangan.
Ya, betul. Jangan malukan mereka depan orang lain.
Semuanya di WHI TV3.
Dan stream sekarang ditonton.
Nightline continues. A housebreaking gang run by foreigners has been busted following a 7 million ringgit heist at the Bukit Damansara home in May. According to Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Rosdi Muhammad Isa, a total of 8 suspects, including 4 Latin Americans, were detained in various operations between June 6 and 14.
Kita ada beberapa siri tangkapan, iaitu pada 6 hari bulan, pada 9 hari bulan dan 14 hari bulan. Daripada 9 hari bulan Jun, 6 hari bulan Jun, 9 hari bulan Jun, 11 hari bulan Jun dan 14 hari bulan Jun. Semua sekali yang ditangkap ada 7 di Malaysia. Satu lagi berjaya ditahan di Thailand.
Rosdi said police had earlier received a report about a break-in at the terrace house in Bukit Damansara on May 31st. The complainant, who is a businessman, reported that he came home that night and found his master bedroom ransacked. He claimed that 30 luxury watches, jewellery and 20,000 ringgit in cash had gone missing, worth a total of 7 million ringgit. Police conducted intelligence gathering before successfully apprehending all those involved. Rusdi said aside from the Latin American suspects, the others detained were 2 local women and 2 Bangladeshi men. He added that police managed to recover about 4 million ringgit worth of the stolen items, including some 29 luxury watches, 97 pieces of jewellery and 4,550 ringgit in cash. Rusdi said the criminal group, equipped with CCTV camera jammers, operated during rental vehicles and broke into targeted homes when the occupants were out. In Kedah, police seized 100 kilograms of compressed ganja following the arrest of a suspected trafficker at a homestay in Alostar last week. State Police Chief Datuk Fisol Saleh said the 4:30 p.m. raid on June 18 was carried out by the Kuala Muda District Police Narcotics Crime Investigation Department. The team had picked up the 46-year-old suspected trafficker and found the drugs upon raiding the homestay. Upon inspection, the team found a plastic containing dried leaves suspected to be ganja, weighing 8.2 grams, and a plastic containing methamphetamines, weighing 1.13 grams. The team then found 100 compressed slabs containing dried leaves believed to be ganja, with a total weight of 100.2 kilograms hidden in the closet. Police also seized a Benelli TNT motorcycle worth 8,000 ringgit and 100 ringgit cash from the man who hailed from Kuala Nerang. The man had rented the homestay for 4 days to be used as a transit point to store the drugs, believed to have been sourced from a neighbouring country. He's being remanded until July 2nd to facilitate probe, which is being conducted under the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. As we conclude Nightline tonight, let's take a look at an exhibition of historical French fashion, which was held at the Hong Kong Palace Museum, showcasing nearly 400 pieces of French costume from the late 18th to the early 20th centuries from the collection of the Museum of Decorative Arts in Paris. With that, I'm Zahir, Kelvin, Abdullah. Thank you for tuning in and take care.